Brooklyn.
Probably.
But she's only like 8 pounds or whatever at the beginning. I'm like, there's no way 8 pounds would make my elbows sore. So I'm like, it's because I'm 30. Sweet. Ready, set, real estate. Jess?
So Brandon, let's talk about realtor misconceptions. You often hear all these kinds of different misconceptions, right, from people that aren't actually in the industry.
Yeah.
So for example, one of them would be, one thing that I hear all the time is people will say when they're doing a home inspection, like, don't hire the realtor's inspector because they can hide stuff to try and make the sale go through. I'm sure maybe that's happened before, who knows, but the reality is that sure, we have relationships with home inspectors, but like, it's not that deep. You know what I mean? Like the home inspectors, I know, especially the most popular ones in Peterborough that we often recommend, they have legitimate businesses, families to take care of. They're not going to put their whole business on the line for some random realtor and their clients. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting paid for the home inspection regardless of whether or not our clients buy the house. And I know some people might argue that if a home inspector is like finding stuff wrong with the house all the time, that realtor is not going to use them anymore, which is not true for ethical, legitimate realtors. We want home inspectors that do a good job because we care about our clients. But not only that, when these clients call us back to sell in a few years, we're the ones that are going to be selling that house too. So it benefits everybody to make sure that the house is in good shape and that we get things taken care of, and we don't have any sort of plan with the home inspector. I mean, it is a good idea. Yeah, like, no, that's just not cool at all and super wrong. But it does make sense for people, buyers, to do their due diligence, like read reviews online, get recommendations from family, friends, realtor, whoever on a home inspector. But at the end of the day, we don't have some weird like setup with the home inspectors to try and push things through.
Like for me, if like when I pick the home inspector, I primarily recommend, because you're always supposed to have like 3 names and numbers. So if I was doing a home inspection on my own house, it's the same inspector I recommend for my clients. And the way my criteria would be making sure they're very thorough, right? But also that they don't like say things that aren't true. I have had home inspections done from not even qualified inspectors, like buyers like, hey, can my uncle come? He's like a contractor.
Oh yeah, that's another.
And then I notice like they're saying something that's it's either not true, or it doesn't quite make sense, or it's not a big deal, or something's biased, or it's just like because they think they're making it a bigger deal because they like to power trip or something. So for me, it's like I don't want any of that. I just want someone to get, here's the facts, the black and white, boom, boom. Because I just know if I was buying a house, doing an inspection, I don't want like you to feel like, I just want to know the facts about the house. Like, is the age of the furnace, what does it mean if it gets older, when does it die, like what's a condensate pump, is it bad if it's leaking, how to tell signs for moisture, certain things like that. And I want someone to make sure the other criteria is to make sure that they like teach the buyers they go through, and that they're like making sense and leading it. I call it like leading the buyer through nicely. I'm actually doing an inspection tomorrow with on a listing, and so that would be it. It's not like, how can I pick an inspector to get the sale to go through, so then the buyer moves in, has issues with the house, and then knows that eventually it's because the inspection sucked. Well, I'm part of that because I recommended the inspector, so then I sucked, and then they never want to use me again. Like, it would never be from that angle. So yeah, I totally get that. Another myth would be, I've had a few people like 3-4 times over 7 years mention this, where as a real estate agent, when you're helping a buyer, that you would essentially want them to buy a higher priced house so you can get more commission. That would be like another misconception. Maybe some agents, that's how it is. Like, I don't know. But like, I can't speak on their behalf. I just know for me, right? Because like, you're in your own world as an agent. And that's nothing further from the truth, because if I'm helping someone, the amount of money I make on a sale is a good amount of money, meaning every sale matters. So like, if they felt like, oh, they overpaid like 10K more than they needed to because I recommended too high of a price. Like, let's say you're up against one other offer and I'm like, yeah, you should go on 50K over asking. You move into the house and then 2 weeks later, someone's like, yeah, I was up against another offer too. And I went at asking and I got the house. And they're like, what? We were told to go 50 over. Oh my God. Like, Brandon obviously wanted more. So if that's, because if you are doing that and you're being shady like that, pushing a higher price or something, something to get people to overpay because you want more commission, you will get caught. That they will find out eventually, right? And when that happens, they're not going to use you again. It's going to hurt your brand. So if they don't use you again, you lose that sale in the future, plus all those referrals. Then you times that by all the people you're doing that to, and then you just feel like a bad person. So there's no reason why you would do that. Plus, it's actually against your code of conduct.
I actually think we both realize how the business works and that you're going to get more business in the long run treating people right and helping them and genuinely caring about their financial situation. It is. So that's what we get paid to do, is do the best job that we can for our clients, not get them to pay some crazy amount. Or I know when the bidding wars were happening and we don't know what the other offers are and that sort of thing.
It's tough.
We may have had people that paid more than other people. We don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting there personally being like, oh, I hope they buy this $700,000 house instead of the $600,000. That honestly does not cross my mind.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we both run legitimate businesses. We have so many clients. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really impact me if this guy buys that or that. It's just making the clients happy, all of that sort of thing. I'm sure there's other situations out there, but I know a lot of agents that run their business like we do and feel the same way. Some other misconceptions I would say also are that realtors are overpaid, which is a super common one. But I mean, the failure rate in real estate is super high. I don't know the exact percentage. What is it?
I heard it's like 91%.
90 something percent for a reason, because of how difficult it is, because of the sacrifices that you have to make. So sure, are there some out there that are overpaid or have been overpaid on something? Maybe. But overall, for the people that are really truly putting in the work and the effort that they should be putting into this business, that's not the actual case. But of course, the public doesn't see behind the scenes.
I think
they see the TikTok videos, the sold signs, the checks, and it's just, if it were that good and if it were that easy to be overpaid, everybody would do it.
And everyone try it, like maybe not everyone, a lot of people try and do real estate because it is a small percentage of realtors that do make a lot more money, but that's because it's very hard to get to that level. So like any business, it's not like we're any different. If you start up a business and you're selling, a certain product, you might have a hard time in the first 3 years because you're competing against 6 other businesses and they have the market share, and you have to get in there and try and take that piece and grow up your database and your clients and stuff. And then when you do get to that point, if you can make it there, well, then you're paid well. And if you work harder, you're paid really well, but that's in proportion to how hard you work. So it's not like you're just paid over, like not like you're just given extra money, like you earned it. It's kind of like a front end investment to pay off later, because again, like you said, it's stacked against you. Like when you start out, the odds are you are going to fail. And you're not going to make a lot in the beginning, and you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices to get there. And then those agents that do, well, they're pretty good agents. Why? Because they're in the pulse of the market right now, and they are they're sharp. Because if I got a call from someone right now that's negotiating on my listing, I know what to say. I'm not like, oh, I haven't done real estate in like 3 months.
Well, that's the thing too.
And that's protecting someone's equity on their house, thousands of dollars. So you want an agent that's in it, busy, full time, and does a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You're being paid to protect their equity and make sure they get the most amount of money possible. So understandably, the more experience, the more skill you have and that sort of thing, the more that you're going to be compensated and the more you're going to do and the more referrals you're going to get and the more money you're going to make.
Yeah.
So you kind of get, well, you do get paid, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So that's another misconception. Any other misconceptions you can think of?
I know there's one more. I'm trying to remember what it is, and I can't remember. But I guess like another misconception, in my opinion, and this isn't really about, well, I guess about realtors who are involved, it's open houses. And it's just about like that open houses, you have to do them and they sell houses. Really, it's not true. If you look at COVID, no open houses were even done. Lots of houses sold for a lot of money because of the way the market was. But that's just because open houses, if you have 8 people come through an open house and you follow up with them, half will answer the phone, let's say. But let's say 6 do. Of the 6, 2 of them are just out kicking tires, right? Like bored on a Sunday. One might be your neighbor, wanting to come see your house. And then you have another 2 that are looking like 6 to 12 months out, and maybe 1 that's like starting to get the approval going in a few weeks or so, doesn't have an agent yet or does, and still isn't quite ready yet and just starting their search. So the odds of them buying your house is unlikely because they want to see like 10 houses before they probably feel comfortable offering on a house. So the point is that open houses are usually not going to bring the buyer that will pay the most money for your house and get your house sold, because it only takes one person, right? So the best way is through showings, not through open houses. Open houses, is my opinion, is more for the real estate agent to be able to get leads to help them grow their business down the road, which is nothing wrong with that, because it's still beneficial for the seller, because they can still have someone buy the house.
Yeah.
And any exposure is good exposure, I always say, because it is. It's just that it probably is more beneficial for the agent, I'd say, honestly.
Well, the private appointments, the people that are actually
showings,
booking
those
showings
private
to see the house are usually serious qualified buyers that chose that house to go see.
Yeah, the open house is just kind of the public and doesn't really do much, in my opinion. You know? So.
And often too, on a lot of these videos, I see some of the comments, and they're full of misconceptions, right? So, for example, we did a mortgage or a video, and someone was commenting about mortgage amounts and what people don't qualify for and that kind of thing. So, I think that when we're talking about particular situations that we've had with clients, that sometimes people think we're saying like, this is how it is, but we're only speaking to that one particular situation. So if we're talking about first-time home buyers that just bought a new house for $600,000 or whatever it is, that's them in their particular situation. We're not saying everybody can do that. And sometimes I notice when we mention things like that, people often on social media comments will say things like, you know, my kid tried to buy a house or this happened and you know, it's almost impossible. You have to make this much or do this much. And it's like, that's their situation. So I think that sometimes there's a misconception that if we're talking about people buying houses, say in that example I gave of the $600,000 house, that we're implying or trying to give out false information about the market and whatnot. But really we're just talking about a particular situation.
Yeah, I guess another few things like that kind of do bother me a bit that I'll just say is like me venting a little bit would be that like, I don't know, I guess let's say like the market, like agents liking that the market's really hot and it's going up a lot.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, no, at least for me, I don't like that because it becomes unaffordable, so less people can buy houses, and I would always want more transactions.
People would always say, like during the height of the market, realtors are loving it right now.
Yeah. But it's very hard because if you're buying a house and you're my client, and I'm like, hey, let's go see these 6 houses. We see them. Oh, you had to wait till next Tuesday at 6, and then next Tuesday at 6 comes, you put an offer, and there's 10 other offers. You don't get the house. You lost out. Hey, Jess, sorry you didn't get it. And you're like, oh. And the whole day
it's like
then you got to do that over and over and over.
When the market was that way, it was either you show somebody 50 houses, for example, until they buy one, spend hundreds of hours trying to find them a house, or would you rather just sell them a house now when the prices are a bit lower or quite a bit lower, make less money, but only show them, say, 3 houses, right?
Yeah.
So that thing that people would always say about how realtors are like loving the market.
It's just misaligned with reality. It's just, at least for me, it's like that's, and I'm assuming for you too, like that's not how we think.
No, that's not how I thought about it at all.
What we would want to. Like another thing is, I had my thought, it just went out the window.
Well, because we're just serious about our business and helping the people, whether the market's hot or not or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's not really something that I think about. And I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think the average realtor who's in this seriously as a career is like, of course we know what's happening with the market, but we're not like, yes, now it's this way and now we can do this. Like, our job is the same regardless of the market, to help people buy and sell.
That's right.
And get them to the next spot and do the best job for them regardless of the market. The money will follow. We're not sitting there thinking about it like that. I'm not anyway. I don't think you are. I just know we're going to make money if we do a good job and if we do our job. So
yeah, and you help people and like it just depends because you're always doing the opposite. Like helping a seller, you have to get them the most money for the house. If you're helping a buyer, you get the lowest price and the right house is always the objective. So it's always an opposition of each other. But the other thing is just that like time frame too. I would like everyone to know that basically see your real estate agent as like your friend, right? Like we are though. Like if you're my buyer, I'm working with you. I'm representing you. I'm an extension of you. I'm doing what's in your best interest which is get the right house for the lowest price and stuff. But that extends all the way out. Like even your time frame, like be honest with me, let me know what you're thinking. You could wake up tomorrow and tell people this and be like, no, I don't want to buy a house now. And I'm not gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, you said you were gonna buy right now. Like I'm going to make you sign a buyer rep agreement with me and you're going to buy in the next 2 months. Like, no, like I'm not here to make your life harder. I want you just let me know, be honest. And then that way it also helps me know who to communicate with and how much to communicate. I want to bug you, but I do want to be there when you need me. So I think that's another thing which people would know is just that you could be super honest and upfront about your plans and you could change them a million times over. It's okay. Just let us know. We're not like this. We are salespeople. We get paid based off commission, but what's best for us is really what's best for you. That's the difference between, I think, being a real estate agent and being maybe a different type of salesperson, that where you're not actually acting on your client's best interest. And what we've learned is that doing what's best for your client helps your business as we get more experience. And so you really just want, like, you're not taking advantage of people. You know, you don't want someone to like feel like they've been taken advantage of, move into their house, and then go sue you a year later because you did do something negligent or misrepresented just to get a sale. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, like you don't want the stress and headache of that, right? Why don't you just go work harder and get more business and leads and then help more people, and that's how you can make more money if you want to make more money.
When you do a good job, it snowballs.
Yeah, because you get referrals and things. So, sweet. Well,
Yeah.
that inspires me, Jess.
Yeah, thanks, I guess.